You want to know why I love the summer season? It's because it's the beginning of horror movie season. And Netflix just dropped a movie called Fear Street Prom Queen. Now, just based off the title, Fear Street, you might be wondering, is this related to the other films in the series? Technically, yes and no. I say no because it's an entirely different story with an entirely different cast of characters. But I say yes because it's also set in the same universe as the other three movies in the series. It takes place in Shadyside, so although it takes place in the same town as the other films, the story itself is completely different. Well, technically it is a prequel because it takes place before Fear Street 1994. But again, it's an entirely different story on its own. Alright, in this film, you have the main character, Lori Granger. She's like your typical teenager who's kind of like, for lack of a better word, a loser. She's been outcasted from the rest of the school because there's rumors of her mom killing her dad, like way back in the day before she was born. But again, those were just rumors, and you'll just have to watch the rest of the movie if those rumors are true. She just happens to be one of the candidates to become prom queen at the high school prom. So the candidates are Lori and these four other high school girls who call themselves the Wolf Pack. And they're pretty much like a bunch of bullies. Yes, just like the wolf pack from The Hangover, except this time it's like literally a wolf pack of bullies. So the leader of the wolf pack, her name is Tiffany, and oh my gosh, Tiffany is such a bitch. She is such a bitch in this movie. You will see why. But anyway, yeah, so it's Lori Granger, the four members of the wolf pack, and like a drug addict. So there are 6 candidates in total that are nominated to be prom queen. And as you've seen in the trailer, you can already kind of guess what the story is. There's like a serial killer going around killing the prom queen candidates one by one. And at first I think to myself, okay, the killer is probably killing off these girls one by one. They probably want a certain person to become prom queen. That was just my guess before I saw this movie. Now, honestly speaking, after I finished this movie, to me, it was like a typical slasher film. Like if you've seen the movie Scream or Halloween, it has like the same tropes as those other films because for one, you have a killer going around killing people. And throughout the film, like the victims are making it so easy to get themselves killed. The victims are always setting themselves up to be like easy targets. Each prom queen candidate just wanders off from the rest of the group with their boyfriends because you have a mass killer that's going around and killing people one by one. And the victims are making it really easy to get themselves killed because they're always wandering off on their own. And they always go to like the most isolated part of the school, which makes this really easy for the serial killer to pick them off one by one. Okay, that's like a major trope in a slasher movie. If there's one thing I loved about this movie is that the killer, he doesn't use like, however, what I really liked about this movie is that the killer didn't really stick to one type of weapon. Like most slasher movies, you know, like Scream and Halloween, Ghostface like used a knife, Michael Myers used a knife, Freddy Krueger used like his 3 claws. Freddy Krueger like used his 3 claws. But in this movie, the killer would use so many different weapons at their disposal. They had like an axe, they also had a knife. At one point, the killer uses like a buzzsaw amongst like other weapons, which again, I won't name here, but you'll just have to watch the movie for yourself to see how the victims die. The movie was pretty gory, and the way that the killer killed off their victims was pretty brutal. When the killer finally does get revealed, their motivation for why they're killing these girls was pretty predictable, which I didn't really like. Slasher movies that involve a mass serial killer, like the payoff at the end has to be good. The reveal has to be good. Their motivation has to be good. But in this movie, like after we find out who the killer is and why they're killing people, I don't know, to me, their motivation for killing the girls was pretty lame. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really expect the killer to be that person, but if you pay attention throughout the film, I guess there are moments where you can figure out who it is. Now, compared to the other films in the Fear Street series, where would I rank this one? Frankly speaking, I would probably rank it last. I feel like the other movies, Fear Street 1994, 1978, and 1666, I mean, technically they're all related to each other. It's like one big story arc. I like the characters more. I like the main character more because she was like badass. She wasn't like being a little bitch, you know? It was hard to root for Lori Granger because she was such a weak main character. Let me put it this way. I felt sorry for her more than trying to root for her throughout the entire movie. Now, I haven't read the books. I don't know if that's how the character was written in the book. If so, okay, that's fine. I mean, even so, like for the movie, like just change your character, like make her more of like a badass, you know? Like the first half of the movie, she'd always let the bullies get their way. Like she wouldn't talk back, she wouldn't stand up for herself. Like her best friend kind of had to do that for her. And the main bully, like Tiffany, man, she is such a bitch. If I was Lori, I would just bitch slap the shit out of her. But towards the end, she does finally like grow a pair of balls and like just fights back against the bullies and against the serial killer. Like compared to a lot of other slasher movies I've seen, at least the main character, she's like a hero more than half the time. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just me. If I have to spoil one thing, there is an after credit scene after the movie. It'll explain a major plot point from the other movies. You need to watch this movie to understand the other ones? No, you don't. At the end of the day, the movie itself was just a typical slasher. Do I recommend this movie regardless? No.